welcome to this evening's coverage of this On-Court Hospital Limerick Senior Hurling Championship. It is a Group 1 Round 3 meeting of the county champions, the Piarsaigh, and the challengers, Doon, here. It is, as you can see on your screen, it is a cracking evening. My own name is Tom Clancy. I'll be guiding you through this one as best I can, and alongside me is Matt O'Callaghan. We'll take a look first at the teams before we come to Matt, and take a look at those teams. First of all, we'll start with Doon, and Doon have made two changes to the one advertised in the bumper programme produced by Limerick J this week. And into the side come number 20 Jack Cummins replacing his brother Patrick, and Barry Murphy wearing 21. So the side in full sees Tomas Lynch in goals, Cormac Ryan, Owen Fitzgibbon and Shane O'Connell in the full back line. The wing back is Jack Cummins, Darragh O'Donovan at centre back, and Eddie Stokes completing the defensive unit. Cian O'Donovan and Ty Whelan partnered at midfield. Kevin Maher is joined by Barry Murphy and Jack Ryan in the half forward line. Pat Ryan captains the side wearing 13. Donald Coughlin, the youngster who was on fire against Patrick Swell last time out, is in the inside forward line, while Adam English, the Limerick panellist, is also in the Doon 15. So taking a look at the Piarsaigh side now, and go. Yeah, taking a look at the Piarsaigh side now, and there's a couple of changes too to that one, was just published as well this week. Shane Dowling is in goals, Emmett McAvoy wears 2, Mike Casey wears 3, and in place of Cathal King is number 23, that is John Fitzgerald. Mike Foley, Ronan Lynch and Vince Harrington the half back line. JJ Carey replaces William O'Donoghue at midfield, while Wayne Kearns is his partner. Conor Boylan, David Dempsey and Kevin Downs, with Keith Dempsey missing out, so David Dempsey wearing 18, and the inside line, a potent looking trio of Adrian Breen, Will Henn and Peter Casey. As I said, a cracking evening here. We're almost set to go. As you can see, the sides going through their final preparation, getting a couple of shots in. Matt, lovely evening for hurling. It's been a cracking day. We've that side of things taken care of. We had an underwhelming game last night between Kilmallock and Killowen-Palskenry. We're hoping for better this evening between two of the aristocrats of Limerick hurling.
Absolutely. We'd be hoping that this would maybe possibly be the game of the round in Section A, and it's hard to know where either side are at in the current campaign. As you know, Tom, both sides have won a game and both sides have lost a game. Now, Piarsaigh lost in the opening round to Patrick Swell, and subsequently had a good win over Kildimo-Pallaskenry. Doon, by contrast, had a very poor performance against Kilmallock in the opening round, but bounced right back in the second round to defeat Patrick Swell, who had defeated Piarsaigh. So, you know, if you're looking for a form or a bloodline in this now, it isn't easy to decipher what, you know. But look, it's a perfect evening for hurling. Now, Doon have been, you know, the problems that they've had during the year with injuries and serious injuries. It's improved one or two players tonight. It's very good to see Barry Murphy coming back tonight and starting this evening. And you know, they're still down a good few players. Now, I've seen him earlier in the year. I saw him in the league final. They had a very good win here in the league final against Kilmallock. After falling very far behind in the first 10 minutes, I think they were 1-6-0 score down or something like that, and they came back and dug in, and they showed great resilience. But what it tells me about Doon, the way they lost the first round to Kilmallock and bounced back in the second round, is that the strength and depth that must be in the squad, Tom. You know, and we see the line out here, and despite being down 5 or 6 top players, it's still a very formidable line out.
Yeah, most certainly is, and that victory over Patrick Swell, the perfect tonic for them to hopefully kickstart their campaign. And it was a game that maybe Manny Matt had written them off in before the ball was even thrown in, but they started that game with a greater intensity than we'd seen a couple of days previous against Kilmallock. But I suppose a chance for one of these sides to really stake a claim now for a knockout place. A second defeat won't eliminate them or anything like that, but it'll put them under pressure.
It will put them under pressure, like, and you could nearly say with a certain amount of certainty that the winner of this game will be involved in the quarterfinals at least, and you're right.
Well, we're underway here, and straight away Ronan Lynch, a couple of seconds on the clock, gets the Piarsaigh off the mark straight from throw. And Ronan Lynch wearing 6, but operating in the half forward line as he's done in their other 2 games so far. Fine score from him there. The ball won immediately from the throw in by David Dempsey, and he finds Lynch, who pops it over. So Doon looking to counteract that, playing from right to left in the first half. Here's youngster Donald Coughlin, can't get on it, and straight away there is a foul in there. There was protests from the Doon players is we're right in amongst it this evening, Matt. Hopefully we get that championship intensity that has been lacking in some games, but hopefully we'll see plenty of it here this evening.
Yeah, well, you would expect it from these two teams, and you would expect it at this stage of the championship, Tom, because we're passing the halfway mark in the championship tonight, and like, you know, you've already outlined what the stakes are. You know, it is not, you know, the end of the road for the loser or for any of the two of these, but you know, victory will be very, very important towards putting to bed qualifying for the knockout stages of the competition.
And Ronan Lynch, he was on target, as we saw from play a couple of minutes or a minute or so ago, and wavered on this occasion with the free. Has taken over the free taking duties so far anyway in this championship, and the ball on the far side of the field, breaking theirs. Kevin Downs scrambling for it, and Piarsaigh come out with it through Mike Foley. Foley diagonally looks for Will Hen, but that's beating him, and it's going to go straight to Darragh O'Donovan. Sits well in that pocket for Doon and delivers a fine ball inside. And can they get their first shot of the evening? Donald Coughlin spins out of the challenge. Coughlin, that's going to go short, is it? Oh, good play of the hurley from Shane Dowling, and Dowling can tidy it up across to Emmett McAvoy. McAvoy skips away from Coughlin, and here is David Dempsey, or Dahi is he's also known, and Dempsey scrambling for it again. And we've already had a couple of openings. Here come Doon now as Barry Murphy wearing 21. Murphy going through, spills it back across, but Piarsaigh have numbers there. I can see 6, 7, 8 light blue jerseys. Oh, as Cian O'Donovan does well there to disrupt the clearance from Mike Foley. And here is Boylan. Boylan comes out of a few challenges, takes too many steps there. And Doon clearly bringing that intensity they had against Patrickswell.
Yeah, that's the point, Tom. You know, we were wondering about the intensity of this game. Now, it's a very, very warm evening and a very sultry evening, but we were wondering it. But we have seen a snapshot of it already, and the game is only a couple of minutes old. But we see how both teams are setting out. This, you know, it's full blown stuff in these opening couple of minutes.
Adam English now looks to level us up. Goes through his routine and gets it perfectly right, and Adam English gets Doon off the mark, and a well-earned free from their forward unit. That's what manager Fergie O'Loughlin will be looking for, and English replies to the effort earlier in the piece from Ronan Lynch as ball comes down here. Jack Ryan, a couple of lay points against Patrickswell, helped him over the line, but he spills it up. Boylan is in there. Oh, Cian Donovan with a lovely shoulder, and you can see already that each ball in this one is going to be hard fought, and it's Boylan who fouls Jack Ryan, and a chance now for Doon.
A chance from Doon now. It's a long way out, and it looks to me as if Adam English has come out. He must fancy it that he's going to have a shot at it, but like, we can see the intensity. We see it firsthand here in front of us straight away. Like, the intensity is just phenomenal so far, Tom. You just wonder, can the teams keep it up?
Yeah, it's English very close to our position here. Rises and strikes and then gets it all perfect, is it? Yes, it just stays inside that post, and English gives Doon the lead for the first time this evening. And we're so close to the players here, feels like we're on the bench, but English with a well executed score there, and Doon in the driving seat at the early stages.
Yeah, and it was sheer intensity and the sheer work rate that won the free in the first place, Tom. Yes. Now at this stage we have a free to the Piarsaigh, I think.
Ty Whelan, I think the guilty party there. And Kevin Downs is going to have to bring it back a couple of metres. He gives it to his colleague, Mr. Shane Dowling. He got points last time out against Kildare and Pallaskenry from a similar enough position. That in Clahan. They were comfortable enough victors.
See, Tom, there isn't a puff of breeze here, you know, so long strikers will fancy it. Has been a good evening to show.
It's going to be dangerous.
It's going to be dangerous, dropping.
And it's scramble defence from Doon. Can they get it out to the side? There's a number of bodies from both sides in there. Who's going to come up with it? Will Hen is one of them. In fact, it's JJ Carey, and off the right, that's a snapshot, and that has gone across, or not across the face, it goes up the near post and wide from the man wearing 22, JJ Carey. He's been impressive so far. Vacated his midfield position there to join in on the attack, but his effort from an acute angle goes wide. As Doon spread the play here. There's plenty of clear involvement in the backroom team, which Fergie O'Loughlin has assembled in quick time earlier in the summer. And that puck out from Tomas Lynch meets the sideline on the far side. So a bit of a lull at last. They can gather their breath as Emmett McAvoy scrambles it. And again, Donald Coughlin is very busy in there. He was very, very impressive.
Very disappointing for a goalkeeper, Tom, to see a puck out just going dead like that.
Yeah, as Barry Murphy is in there, but again, it's Mike Casey now this time for the Piarsaigh, and Will Hen gets on it. Hen, one of a number wearing the white helmets, but he's wearing 14. Ball is there, and Dempsey, his first start of the championship. Dahi Dempsey off the right, just bangs it in there looking for Peter Casey. Casey puts the brakes on, switches it across towards Adrian Breen. Breen, oh, he just can't gather it. If he did, there was a goal is on. It might be still on. Breen off low shot. Breen to the back of the net. And Adrian Breen, after about 6 or so minutes, opens his account, and we have the first goal of the evening. But Peter Casey, Matt, with the vision, great ball and a great bit of play from the Piarsaigh.
Yeah, great play from the Piarsaigh, and it all started back here on the half-back line with Dahi Dempsey, and he spotted the run of Peter Casey, and Peter Casey in turn spotted it and put it right across the goal with perfection. And if you give Aidan Breen that type of an opportunity, there's only one result, Tom.
Yeah, he's really, really formidable, and he scored a goal in the 2020 final between these two sides. So Doon knew that would potentially come if they weren't tightly marking, and indeed they weren't. Peter Casey had the space, and Breen had the finish. So a free at the other end. Kevin Downs, as we say, wearing 12 but operating at 6.
It's an awkward enough one for Adam, Tom. Tom, it's right out on the right touchline, but
we wouldn't back against them in a rush, as English, the umpires are happy, and English is happy too. Hits his third.
We'll be backing against him this evening anyway, in the type of form he has shown in the first, nearly 7 minutes.
Yeah, fine score from him there, and just replying to that goal, and that's what management would like when you concede a goal. You get the next score at the other end, because it just negates the goal ever so slightly. Ball flicked inside now, and here is Ronan Lynch. Lynch, what does he do with that? He puts it at the near post and wide, and a second wide.
I think that there was the lead there for a minute before coming up with a decision, but I think they got it right from what we could see from here, Tom.
Yeah, difficult evening for them in terms of sun in the eyes, as same with us here. Pat Ryan goes up with McAvoy. McAvoy does enough to disrupt, and it's now with Wayne Kearns, another one who's staking a claim as for a permanent position in the Piarsaigh side, as they look to just go short passing on this occasion and struggling to do so, but they come out with it, and the ball is there. It's JJ Carey who wins it, and JJ Carey, Matt, has had a bit of an influence already. He's very busy foraging for that ball, does well there, wins a free. Does
very well, of course. He's an All-Ireland medal winner with Arts Gold Reach, JJ Carey, so it'll be interesting to see who's taking this one. Ronan Lynch is taking it. I thought that for a minute that Shane Dowling was going to ramble up to take this one, but certainly it's within Ronan Lynch's compass. It's dead straight in front of the goal, Tom, but they're not always the easiest frees.
We shall see how easy he makes this look, as Lynch makes no mistake, and he has his first now from a free, and moving them just a couple ahead again, and again the physicality counting against Doon on that occasion, but they've certainly come to party, and while they will definitely be up against it over the hour, they've started brightly despite the concession of that Adrian Breen goal. Ball switched across to Shane Dowling. Great to see him back playing senior with his club. He's been robbed of so much through injury, as Lynch decides to go turn on to his right, and Ronan Lynch, another wide from him.
Be disappointed with that one, Tom.
Yeah, that's a quartet of wides now. He's hit 2 of those.
He had space and he had time on that occasion, and
and he turned on to his favourite side as well, which has come against him. And again, it's Dahi Dempsey playing a lot further out the field than we are used to, even in the blue of the Piarsaigh. He sends it into Breen. Breen, a snapshot off the right. Umpires, though, are in agreement that has also gone to the left and wide. And again, Doon on with it nice and quickly.
Mounting up the wides at this stage, Tom. Yeah. By my count, they have 5 already. And what are we? Less than 10, just about 10 minutes into the game.
Oh, lovely play there, Peter Casey. He's not going to hit one wide. He's going to put it over. No. Peter Casey doesn't need much of an invitation.
No.
And another one for him, and another one for the Piarsaigh. Really accurate. Nice little pass from Will Hen, and a nice little score to push them further clear. Doon looking for something from the puck up. There was the hurley play there. Referee says no, and we'll continue. Here is Sean Fitzgerald, and it's back there to McAvoy. Sends it back to Wayne Kearns. Doesn't take much of a look, but sends it towards Will Hen. And Darragh O'Donovan puts the brakes on, takes the tiniest of solos, but his delivery is not his greatest. And there's a free coming here now, and we're going to come back for the free. Just a spare arm tackle from Cian O'Donovan in the middle of the pitch.
You know, the puck out for Doon is a bit of a problem already, Tom, in that one went directly out over the sideline, and the last couple of puck outs, they have been won by the Piarsaigh. So they've got to find a way of getting something from the puck out, because you saw that last puck out was easily won by the Piarsaigh. The one immediately just down here on our left was the very, very same.
Lynch lines this one up, and he likes it, I think. Yeah, indeed he does. And pushes them. The biggest lead of the match so far.
They're incrementally building a lead, Tom. It's 4 points. Like, they have created 10 chances to Doon's 3 at the moment, and now we have something Eddie Stokes delivering.
Across here, looking for Adam English does well, but Mike Casey knows how to defend those dropping balls, and it was actually Barry Murphy who's also in there for Doon. As ball is broke around the middle, and Owen Fitzgibbon gets on it. Here is English. English likes it before it's even over the bar. Adam English with his first from play, and that's just what Doon needed, because they had gone, we're looking maybe four minutes without a score. Hadn't got one from play. English rights that wrong with a nicely executed shot off his left.
A very, very well executed shot. He had little space, Tom, but he just looked up, and you know, we've seen before the suite of skills that Adam English has, and he used them there on that occasion to
well
get a very
there.
important point. There's danger.
Here's Conor Boylan. Boylan goes through English's, or Donovan's with him. Boylan to the back of the net. Had the advantage, didn't need it. Darragh O'Donovan matched him, fouled him in doing so, and just like that he dispatches it. And you talk about building a lead incrementally. Well, there's no increment about that. That's a fine goal to push them 6 clear.
An excellent goal by Conor Boylan. And from the time he got it, Tom, and set off over on the far side of the field, there was clearly only one thing in his head, and he didn't give Thomas Lynch an absolute chance. It was a bullet into the corner of the net.
Yeah, there's definitely a formidable force when he's running with the ball is Conor Boylan. He wouldn't envy a defender trying to stop him, but Dahi Dempsey wins a free here and takes a brief moment to take off his helmet as clouds gather, but still a very humid evening here on the banks of the Morning Star, as Lynch with his furthest one to date from his own half. What does he do with that? Oh, that tails in lovely, and another score for him, and another score for the Piarsaigh.
No.
The gap moving again. Doon really need to start winning something on their own puckouts. But breaks nicely here for Barry Murphy. Murphy, advantage coming. Murphy, another one. A lot of steps. He's go through. Murphy ends up on the deck. Well, the advantage appeared to have been played, according to referee John O'Halloran. I think that's what he's saying to the players. The 5 seconds was up. You got what you needed from it.
Yeah, I think that's correct decision, Tom, because he gave him a long advantage.
Ball into Casey, and Casey has just run out of road there. The umpire is waving that wide. But eventually we're gone wide. Now I know I'm talking into a microphone, but I don't think John O'Halloran could hear me. But now there's an issue here as Fergie O'Loughlin is going to get into spatter bother over his protests here. And a word needed between the official and him. He's explaining exactly, and that's good refereeing. He's come over to explain his decision. He doesn't need to do that for everyone, of course, but
no.
O'Loughlin is not happy, and well, I think John O'Halloran is wise to just get him out of his hair and get on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. John, of course, is a absolutely fine referee, and you know, this sort of thing has to be stamped out, Tom, in fairness, and the way to do it is stamp it out at source. And I know, I get all this, that officials can get carried away and in the spur of the moment and all that sort of thing, but like, you know, the referee is the ultimate arbitrator, and I think John O'Halloran, as he always does, is doing a very good job.
Absolutely, as we're back underway, and Shane Dowling just spooning it along all the way, and eventually decides to find Peter Casey, and Casey, who just ran out. Lovely block down there by Cormac Ryan. A fine bit of defending. Wasn't close to his man, but did enough to deny him. You can see the crowd gathering on the far side. A fine attendance here this evening. Very hard to get parking earlier this evening as the crowds swell for the final senior game of the weekend. As we're coming for a free here. There's a chop there by Will Henn and a chance for Adam English to trot out and try and land one from his own half.
There's a very, very big crowd here, as we can see on the far side, and it's equal here at this side behind our camera point. So huge turnout, great expectation for this game. I think they'll probably be disappointed with the score so far, but you know, there's still a long way to go.
Well, certainly is. What to be 62 metres from his own goal or thereabouts is English, but again, doesn't like that one though. He's sent that one to the right and wide, and first wide of the evening. I think we're both in agreement with that.
Yeah, absolutely. First wide for Doon, and in comparison to 6 for the Piarsaigh. So
it'll tell you the lack of creativity so far from Doon, and I suppose opportunities. But English sends that one wide. But Ronan Lynch is in there as Boylan sends it across to JJ Carey. Can he bring it under his spell? Oh, he can not, because it's a loose touch and Doon can come away with the ball sent inside to Donald Coughlin off the top of the hurley there, and I'm not sure I'd be agreeing with that, but again, it's just a subtle touch off Donald Coughlin's hurley, I thought, but it's going the way.
It's going the way of Doon.
Well, a very fast motion to see, and Mikey Brown from Drumcolor Bradford is the linesman in front of us here. So,
and in fairness to Mikey Brown, he was right beside it, so he probably saw what the last touch was.
In fairness to the Piarsaigh, they back down their protest fairly lively and let this game progress. As the line ball there, cut. That's a dangerous one. Is it going to go in? Is it going to go over? It just goes across. As Adam English cuts it one just tail at the end. It looked like it was going to go all the way, but goes across the face of goal. Dowling lets it off, and another let off, I suppose, for the Piarsaigh in terms of concession. As the ball up the other end, as Eddie Stokes gets on it, does well, comes out of a couple of challenges, gives it across to Barry Murphy, who's come out the field in the last few minutes, and Stokes on the run. Stokes back on the hurley, hand passes inside, but hand passes just behind Tyg Whelan, and again the Piarsaigh flood the area with bodies, and there's a foul in there. And again, we've a lot of frees in around the middle. Everyone's eager to get in amongst those rucks.
Yeah,
but, sometimes you just need to slow down.
Yeah, and whilst the intensity has dropped, Tom, the tackling is still pretty ferocious, and you know, anybody in possession from either side is getting very little time and very little space on the ball.
English, so off target with his free, off target marginally with the line ball, but here he is on the Piarsaigh 65, and he has got that one perfect, and he has got a fifth in all, and a fifth for Doon, as they just bring themselves again a touch closer. They're going to try and need to get a couple of scores on the trot. They've only managed, well, their first two were in succession. They haven't managed to get back-to-back scores since, so that is part of the problem in terms of eating into this Piarsaigh lead. As ball up the other end, Darragh Donovan as well, gives it across to Owen Fitzgibbon, who sends it. Oh, Donald Coughlin does well, shows good strength. Coughlin comes away from his man, lengthens the grip on the hurley, and Donald Coughlin, oh yes, it's a fine score from him.
That's a very welcome score for Doon, as you say, as you had just flagged. Adam English had got all 5 points to date, and with a similar situation last 2 evenings ago, when Ahan had 5 points at half time, and they all came from Tom Morrissey frees.
Yeah, so Donald Coughlin steps up to the plate and dispatches it finely over the bar. A nice tonic for a young player to show what you're about. He struggled the first evening in this very venue against Kilmallock, as did all the Doon team really, but showed what he was worth against Patrick Swell. There's no doubt about that, as Barry Murphy just misses that. You can see Murphy wearing a wrist support. I think it was a broken wrist that precluded him from being involved in the first 2 rounds, and line ball is cut there, and Murphy with a big hit on Wayne Kearns, but in the Piarsaigh, despite the intense tackling, do well to hold off it as Mike Foley opens up the shoulders. Foley's effort is going to go close. Is it going to go over it? It is not. It's going to the left and wide.
Yeah,
and Foley probably right to take it on. He had all the time in the world and just didn't get the curl on it that he needed.
I think it was the right decision when he did take it on.
And, here we go.
Here's Peter Casey.
Yeah, kicks it away. Will he pick it? He does, of course. Goes through a challenge of Darragh Donovan. Oh, Will Henn flicks it outside. Again, the Piarsaigh struggling to open the defence. Well, here they do now. Breen, blocked down again, and I think it was Cormac Ryan once more, the number 2. And Ryan comes bursting out with it. Hand passes it inside to the younger of the O'Donovan brothers, Cian, and he does well. And again, they're searching for it here is Adam English, and there's a chop there on Adam English, and English and Foley having a bit of a ding-dong battle, and Foley fouls him on this occasion. Yeah, but some great tackling and some great defending there by Doon, and now they have come down here and they've won a free, and you'd nearly back Adam English with this one, Tom.
I won't speak too loudly, we're only a matter of metres away. As English again lifts and strike. It's going to go close. Well, we don't have Hawkeye and Bruff, but it is just tailed.
The commentator's curse, Jake.
Yeah.
Tom.
He heard you, Matt.
Yeah.
But just unfortunate, as we were looking at it, it was a tight angle, but didn't
just tailed at the very end.
Yeah.
You know, it looked to be on course, but tailed at the very last minute.
What a take from Dempsey. Dahi Dempsey bearing down a goal, looking for a third. Sends it in to Lynch. Lynch sends it to the back of the net. And Dempsey unselfishly passes it off. And Ronan Lynch, a long way from the number 6 berth he was named in, playing in the half-forward line, finds himself in the full forward line. And a third goal now for the Piarsaigh. They really do love green flags, Matt. They've probably been a little bit shy so far in this championship, but down the years they've proven time and time again they know how to open up defences.
Absolutely.
And rattle the back of the net.
And it was a great run by Dahi Dempsey, and of course the offload was absolutely spot on.
Peter Casey from right in the middle of the pitch, he gets it perfect. Peter Casey, how about that, Matt? He was encouraged to shoot. He didn't need any encouragement. Gets it right and moves them 3 goals clear now.
You'd have to say at this point, Tom, I haven't seen the Piarsaigh previous games. There's no urgency about the Piarsaigh this evening.
Yeah, is Cian Donovan is hooked on the way, but does he get the shot right? He does, despite the hook. Cian O'Donovan finds his name on the score sheet this evening. He's been doing some good work so far this evening, but rewarded now with a point despite good pressure from the Cardiff men.
But at this stage, Tom, what the game is crying out for is a Doon goal.
Ball drops down nicely. Adrian Breen gets on it. Breen has the pace to get away. Will he take his point here? I think he will. And Breen makes no mistake from there. And you just, it's the disappointment for Doon is that they've to work so hard for that Cian O'Donovan point, and then within a couple of seconds of play, the ball is back over their own bar.
Yeah, the intensity has dropped now, and it's the Piarsaigh that are finding all the space. This Adam English here.
Adam English does well. Lovely 1-2. English finds himself some space. That's not the best. He curses his effort, and it has indeed just trickled out over the end line and wide.
Yeah, beautiful. But the finish, of course, and the execution for the score was out.
But he is really, really busy and all the game for really playing with a great pep in his step. As Will Hen across to Breen. Breen into the side net. That's another goal. And the ball was missed by a Doon defender, but Breen tidies it up and dispatches it across the goal. Tomas Lynch could do nothing about it. And a fourth goal, and you'd really worry now for Doon in terms of...
You would, and Dahi Dempsey was involved in it again.
Yeah, no surprise there. He's come back with a bit of vigor. He's replaced his brother. Picked up a knock against Kildown Palace Kenry.
Yeah.
And Dempsey involved there again with a big hit on one of the Doon forwards as Adam English has to go back to Eddie Stokes. Stokes delivers inside, one-on-one inside. Pat Ryan was looking for, but I say one-on-one, but it's intercepted nicely by one of the most experienced men on the pitch. It's Kevin Downs. And he gives it to Shane Dowling, 2 men of very similar age. Casey doesn't need an invitation to catch that. Casey has all the time in the world. His shot is just perfectly over the crossbar. And all of a sudden they're up to the 20-point mark. 4 goals and 8. Really, really making hay here in Bruff. A fine bit of stuff from Casey on that occasion.
Absolutely.
Dowling with the assist.
Absolutely. Like they're ticking all the boxes this evening, Tom. Whatever lethargy was about in the Piarsaigh in the opening rounds, it's very much banished, and you can see them there. As the championship progresses, they're getting
coming
near
to the boil nicely.
Coming to the boil nicely, and going to peak at the right time.
Yeah, they've have it down to a fine art. There's a bit of a tussle over on this far sideline, but the ball is with the men in light blue as Will Hen sends it inside to Breen. Breen in the 2-on-1 does well to knock it down, but is eventually outnumbered as Murphy. Murphy skips out of the challenge, has a bit of room. Will he fire off a shot here? He has a couple of runners off him, but through the middle, Murphy still going. Looks for Ryan, but it's behind. Cummins, I should say. It's behind him, and there's a late foul on Barry Murphy. He just didn't alter his run and maybe invited the challenges. He just felt if he could have jinked off to his left or right, he might have been able to get a shot. But in fairness to him, I think he was thinking green flag. We need something here to work. Yeah,
but having said that, Barry Murphy was going through. He had no options, Tom. There was no Doon flare left or right. One presented himself on the right.
Yeah,
just
Patrick Cummins right at the end, and by then the chance was probably gone.
The chance was gone, and nobody presented themselves on the left. So it's no blame really to Barry Murphy.
Yeah, powerful run. Probably could have shot from midway, but decided they need something to go. As Adam English, and as part of me thinks English will try and rattle the net here.
Yeah, well, at this stage, you're 13 points down, coming up to half time. You just have to,
Yeah, it's English just going to have to replace the Slitter. Great to see young and old out in support of the club games across Limerick, and it's a game a day nearly for me at this stage, and many others indeed who are supporting across the different grades. But it's of course senior action we're focusing on here this evening as English goes for it. English blocked in there and doubled on by Mike Foley. Yeah. Old-fashioned stuff. Gives back to Cian O'Donovan. Looks for his second point. That's going to be in around the house. Lovely stuff from Shane Dowling. The left hand is still good for clawing those ones out of the sky as he gives it to McAvoy. And in turn to Vince Harrington. We haven't seen too much of Vince on the ball so far, but a nice switch of play. Will Hen has that not been the most prolific as in the terms of scoring so far this season, but has worked very hard doing so. Donovan gives it to Murphy. Murphy has a pull back down there by Peter Casey, and
boy.
But yeah, that's the end of that. As English went for the goal a minute ago, decides it's time for a point from here. Just keeps it inside that left post and moves him back closer again. But it's the way the scoring has gone. It was it kind of feels like every couple of points there's been an Piarsaigh goal, and they're doing or matching them in terms of points. But the goals really, as is obvious to say, really showing the difference between the sides.
12-point lead.
And Kearns gives it across to Big Foley. Wayward a couple of minutes ago. Is there a late hit? There is a late hit from Dempsey. And I think Dempsey will receive his yellow card for this. And indeed a yellow card for Dahi Dempsey as the sun re-emerges here in Rough, and a chance now for Doon to launch another attack there.
David was involved.
Donovan in this occasion. And strikes, it's going to go in towards English, and Dowling does well to get the hurley to it, bursts out and hand passes it across where he has plenty of support. One of those is Kevin Downs, and Downs arrows one up here towards Will Hen. In fact, JJ Carey shortens the grip, rises it, does well. Oh, lovely solo, and again finds the man in space as is New Piarsaig's game plan really. And ball switched across to Peter Casey. Sideline is right beside him as Peter Casey sends it inside towards Will Hen. Hen met there by the sweeping O'Donovan, and we're out over the sideline, and it's a ball for...
By my reckoning, Tom, the 30 minutes are up at this stage, so we're into whatever time John O'Halloran will choose to add on. I don't think there will be too much injury time because we've had very, very little stoppages.
It's been free-flowing, to be fair, yeah. Chance now for...
But from a game point of view, it's free-flowing in the one way. It's free-flowing from the Piarsaigh. Like 12 points up at half-time, that is a sizable and a very healthy lead.
Yeah. It's, again, the Piarsaigh just seem to have bodies ever. Emmett McAvoy comes out of a couple of challenges and gives it to Vince Harrington. Harrington, chased by Pat Ryan, gives it off to Casey. And Casey steadies himself up, and he's going to arrow another one through the post here in Bruff. And Peter Casey, just like that, adds another. And we're very nearly there in terms of this half, as John O'Halloran comes out to centre field, and Tomas Lynch looking for some options. Very static in terms of movement from Doon. There is the half-time whistle. 4-9 to 8 is a considerable margin. Matt, we're probably kind of winding down towards half-time, but the intensity dropped in the last couple of minutes. Doon in real peril here, but in the Piarsaigh, we must compliment them. Really tremendous stuff at times.
Absolutely tremendous stuff at times, and I don't think you could argue for 1 minute that they're not worth their lead. They have been terrific, and we thought in the Piarsaigh were lethargic. They weren't the real Piarsaigh in the opening 2 rounds, but by God, in the first 30 minutes here, we have seen the real Piarsaigh. We've seen why they are champions, and we've got a very, very strong statement in the first 30 minutes, 31 or 2 odd minutes, that they've made a statement that they're not going to relinquish that title very easy. Like, it's fantastic, and it's fantastic to see Dahi Dempsey back and starting, because over the last 2 years he has been an absolutely phenomenal club hurler in this county, and you can see the addition he's to the Piarsaigh. He missed the first 2 rounds, but by God, his fingerprints are all over the first half.
They most certainly are. Yeah, goals from Adrian Breen with the first. It was the second from Boylan, that was Conor Boylan, and then third and fourth arriving not so long after that. Third from Ronan Lynch, and the fourth then from Adrian Breen again. So that is the half-time score here in Bruff, 4-9 to 8 in favour of the county champions, the Piarsaigh. We'll take a bit of a break. Don't go too far away. We'll have the second half very shortly.
Quarterfinals at least, and you're right.
Well, we're underway here, and straight away Ronan Lynch. A couple of seconds on the clock, gets English now to level us up. Goes through his routine and gets it perfectly right. Very close to our position here. Rises and strikes and then gets it all perfect, is it? Yes, it just stays inside. Dempsey off the right, just bangs it in there looking for Peter Casey. Casey puts the brakes on, switches it across towards Adrian Breen. Breen, oh, he just can't get it. If he did, there was a goal is on. It might be still on. Breen off low shot. Breen to the back of the net. And Adrian,
right touchline, but
we wouldn't back against him in a rush. As English, the umpires are happy, and English is happy too. We shall see how easy he makes this look. Lynch makes no mistake, and he has his first.
Less than 10, just about 10 minutes into the game.
Oh, lovely play there, Peter Casey. He's not going to hit one wide. He's going to put it over. No. Peter Casey doesn't need. Lines this one up. He likes it, I think. Yeah, indeed he does. And Owen Fitzgibbon gets on it. Here is English. English likes it before it's even over the bar. Adam English with his first from play.
We've seen before the suite of skills that Adam English has, and he used them there on that occasion to get a very important point. There's danger.
Here's Conor Boylan. Boylan goes through English's, or Donovan's with him. Oh, Boylan to the back of the net. Had the advantage, didn't. Lynch with his furthest one to date from his own half. What does he do with that? Oh, that tails in lovely. And another score for him, and another score for it's margin with the line ball, but here he is on the Piarsaigh 65, and he has got that one perfect. Yes. He uses such good strength. Coughlin comes away from his man, lengthens the grip on the hurley, and Donald Coughlin, oh yes. It was a tight angle, but
it just tailed at the very end. You know, it looked to be on course, but tailed at the very last minute.
What a take from Dempsey. Dahi Dempsey bearing down and goal, looking for a third. Sends it in to Lynch. Lynch sends it to the back of the net.
And of course, the offload was absolutely spot on.
Peter Casey from right in the middle of the pitch. He gets it perfect.
There's no urgency about the Piarsaigh this evening.
Cian Donovan is hooked on the way, but does he get the shot right? He does, despite the hook. Nicely, Adrian Breen gets on it. Breen has the pace to get away. Will he take his point here? I think he will. And Breen makes no mistake from there.
The execution for the score worked out.
He has a Okay, we're back underway here, and there's a fine score there from Adam English to get the second half underway. It all happened very quick. The team's back out, but English gives Doon the ideal start to the second half, as there's a slight delay here as Keenan Donovan has to go and get his hurley. Matt, a couple of changes there at half time. You might bring everyone up to speed.
Yeah, Dermot Cummins has come in for Shane O'Connell in the Doon defence, while Staris Stapleton has come in for Donald Coughlin up front.
So Stapleton in.
And that's an absolutely perfect start for Doon, that Adam English point from play.
There's a chance now for another one. Here is Stapleton wearing 11, but just introduced. Gives it off to Murphy. Murphy's going to hunt a goal here, you feel. Gives it off to Pat Ryan. Pat Ryan, what can he do? Oh, it's a superb block in there from Mike Casey. Ends up on the deck. Chance now. Stapleton goes for one, and it's deflected out for a 65. Couple of goal chances there, Matt, but what about Mike Casey firing himself in front of the ball, where we saw it in the All-Ireland semi-final. He was a bit fortuitous in that occasion, but he makes himself big. He doesn't get out of the way.
No, but he absolutely insists in the All-Ireland semi-final that he meant it, so I've no doubt that he meant it again this time.
A goalkeeper in the making, but in fairness, he had Shane Dowling behind him if he indeed did miss him, but Doon really needed that, you'd feel, but they've brought something, it's fair to say, at the start of the second half, but
like they need to pick off a few scores. They need to take every chance that they come, rather maybe than go for goals, and maybe sow the seeds of some doubt into Inton and Piarsaigh, but it's still a very, very long road back.
Here comes the 65 from English as the clouds have gathered once again. It's a bit darker and here in Bruff, but English with the 65 gets that one right, and 2 on the spin for him and 2 on the spin for Doon, and they are the first team to 10 white flags, but it's the 4 goals that are really, really hurting them so far. They could have had one of their own there. Pat Ryan just didn't put enough downward trajectory on it, you feel, but Mike Casey gets in the way as Shane Dowling tries to get Piarsaigh on the front foot for the first time in the second half. Here is Boylan arrows one from there. Umpire's going straight for the flag. What a score that is from
absolutely
the tightest of angles. He's
excellent score.
He's inside the 13, I think.
He's absolutely an excellent score from Conor Boylan. Fantastic score.
And the reply from Piarsaigh is, again, Doon come out here. Cormac Ryan gives it inside to Tig Whelan. Whelan under pressure from JJ Carey. Dahi Dempsey though almost gets it here. Stapleton had a big impact against the Well the last day, but not given a start here today. Oh, look at the switch of hands from English, but that one isn't going to come in for him.
It's going to tail, I think, Tom. It has tailed out left and wide.
As a first to the second half for Doon, but
to make inroads into the Piarsaigh lead, Doon need to be putting over those kind of chances.
From Ronan Lynch sends it inside to Dahi Dempsey. Doesn't even need to put it in his hand. Sends it off to Wayne Kearns, and Wayne Kearns gets in on the act. They only had 4 scores in the second half, but Wayne Kearns has changed that now with a fine score from there. Lovely bit of team play. Lynch to Dempsey to Kearns, and Kearns over the bar.
Yeah, it was just sublime, the teamwork that we saw there, and it was just a little flick on, absolute perfection.
Yeah, Pat Ryan didn't see much of him in the first half. Has been busy now. They started the second half. Gives it to Stapleton. Stapleton though, just a fraction behind him. Out comes Mike Foley, and Foley sends it to Boylan. What can he do? He's always the short grip, lengthens it though for this strike, and there's Boylan's effort. That's going to go close, but Tomas Lynch plucks it out of the South Limerick sky and does well to give it across to Cormac Ryan. And Ryan gives it to Tig Whelan. Whelan though under serious pressure from Casey, who flicks it away. And there's a hand in there, legally so, and we're going to come back for the free. I think it was Adam English on that occasion. And that brief lift that Doon had at the start of the second half is going to be completely wiped away now, because it's going to be 3 under trot, you'd feel, for the Piarsaigh.
For the Piarsaigh, but you know, it's a classical Piarsaigh response. Adam English got 2 very quick points there. They've already been cancelled out, and now they're likely to be trumped with Ronan Lynch, which for Ronan Lynch is a scoreable free.
And Lynch lifts and strikes, keeps it fairly low, but enough for a point, and he adds another. So he had a goal and 4 in the first half, and that's a goal and 5 now, as here comes Keith Dempsey for the Piarsaigh, wearing 11 as well, but didn't start, so the 2 number 11s did not start, but now in amongst it. In he goes. Out comes Will Henn. Just not clicking for Will Henn so far.
No, it certainly didn't run for Will so far in the game, but he's coming off now. It's not going to run for him this evening. So Keith Dempsey, who broke into the team for first time last year, and was a bit of a revelation actually. And you know, he's in now to get his chance again.
Yeah, chance here now as Eddie Stokes breaks away from a challenge. Stokes gives it on. Advantage is being played. Cian O'Donovan gives it to Pat Ryan, and we're out wide. Well, in fairness, there's groans from the Doon support, but I just felt that John O'Halloran gave it every opportunity. He just wasn't sure if the advantage was still there for Pat Ryan, and there was no guarantee he was going to score from there. So we're probably wise to come back from the free. And in fairness, Doon gave out about that in the first half, that they didn't get a pullback, so they wanted a pullback.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And you'd fancy Adam English with this one again. It's you see, Doon are keeping in touch. They're keeping the scoreboard ticking over, but they're keeping in touch, Tom, at a great distance. You know, it needs a Doon goal. You know, the Piarsaigh aren't really troubled while they're picking off points. They'll be quite happy, perhaps, to let them do it while they can respond. That they're certainly making more progress against the Doon defence, as the scoreline would suggest, than Doon are making here and now right in this second half.
Yeah, as English taps that one over. Shane Dowling yet to keep a clean sheet this season. He'll be hoping that stays the same, but Doon really have to raise a green flag or 4, you feel, to get back into this one. As chance there now as Mike Foley recycles to McAvoy. Foley's going to get it again. He's under pressure. Lovely switch of play to the man in space. Kevin Downs opens out the shoulders, didn't connect with it as well as he would have liked. I think he was going for a goal. Ooh, chance for Breen, you feel, but sweeping there is Cormac Ryan.
Tell you, Cormac Ryan came to Doon's rescue there, Tom, because Adrian Breen was onto it again, and he's on his hat-trick, and if he got that opportunity, but Cormac Ryan read it very well, came across and snuffed out the danger.
Yeah, what have we over there? We have a line ball to the men from the city, and there's a couple of Doon mentors in there telling Mikey Brown what it's about, but Brown is defiant, and we're going to have a line ball which Peter Casey is going to take.
Mikey Brown doesn't like being lectured by players, as we all know.
Decides not to change his mind in any way. Has a lovely ball inside, and it's going to be sent in there from Wayne Kearns, and Kearns looking for his second of the half, but he sent it to the left and wide as ball coming off the stick of Lynch for English, and just comes out of the clutches of him, English that is, and Dempsey to McAvoy comes across the play. McAvoy, he is well marshalled, but McAvoy off the stick, doesn't like it. Perhaps, Matt, that's why he wears number 2.
Another puck out lost by Doon.
Those statsmen to our left from the Piarsaigh, the statsmen to Doon over to our right there, those numbers will not make for any good reading.
No.
As they get this one right. But it's missed just on cue. It's missed by Kevin Maher.
And there's going to be very, very little time to rectify it, because Doon are back out again next Wednesday night when they play Kildima, Pallaskenry and Kilmallock in the 4th round.
Yeah, and the ball is overcarried there by Wayne Kearns, and he just fell onto the deck. Doesn't agree with the decision, but Doon have the free. But yeah, Matt, a very quick turnaround. We've seen some action over the weekend. You were at a Group 2 game last night. I was at a Group 1 game myself. a win last night for Monaleen, and despite the first round loss for them for Ballyround, they're firmly back in the picture.
Oh, very much back in the picture. I was hugely impressed by Monaleen last night, and I'll tell you, we really got an insight as to why Donegal Dawley was a member of the Limerick senior panel this year. He was absolutely outstanding, Tom. He got 2 goals and 4 points, but they had a forward line that really put pressure on Gary Spillane defence, Marco Dwyer, Luke Murphy, Andrew Latouche Cosgrave. You know, they just were firing on all cylinders.
Ball sent into Lynch, playing close to the goal. Little dummy from Lynch, sends it across, but that's kind of crossed the goal and wide. But yeah, there was also a win last night for Ballybrown, 5 goals in 21 they put up against South Liberties, who had 2-16 for their tally. So Ballybrown and Munger top of that group. That group is going to go right to the wire, you feel. Which, Munger and Ballybrown to face on the last day, but there's another round in between, as Matt mentioned, beginning next Wednesday. We have games Wednesday and Thursday and Friday next week across the 2 groups. There's a chance for Doon. It's to the right this time and wide, and I think the sides are.
But talking about that group, Tom, you know, Dare, who would have been expecting to possibly come back immediately, they have a lot of work to do, and they need a bit of luck to go their way. As you know, with only one team going up, they're going to be in a difficult situation now. They have South Liberties, who are struggling next Wednesday night, and it's on in Mungret, I think. But their final game is against Mungret St. Paul's, which should be a very, very interesting game.
Yeah, well, that's Group 2. We're Group 1 here now is Doon trying to get themselves back into this one. Dara Dunham's delivery isn't matched by the run of Kevin Maher, and again there's a chance now. Breen slips as Jack Cummins slips, I should say. Breen gets away and Breen can rise. Breen looking for another 2 goals and 1 in the first half, and he now adds over a point, and a lovely score from Breen. And we're so used to him from scoring from those sort of angles that we just accepted a fine score indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, what have we now? We have 11 minutes of the second half. Doon have made no inroads into the Piarsaigh lead. Actually, the Piarsaigh are 13 points clear. It's very, very hard to see anything other than the Piarsaigh win, even at this remove.
And there's a foul there by Dermot Cummins on Boylan, as the gap looks to continue to grow, and as with an injury we have an influx of mentors and water carriers, and one of them there is just in front of us here, William O'Donoghue. Boot heavily on the left foot. He telling me before the game that he expects to be out for a considerable number of weeks, which is unfortunate for those people looking to see the very best around Limerick. Now, not to say that we're short all of the best, but he is certainly one of those, but he's missing out for the foreseeable anyway. Picked up an injury early in the All-Ireland final.
Absolutely, but irrespective of who you're playing, be it inter-county or club, you always want to see the best players on the pitch. You know, all right, having the like of William O'Donoghue out may confirm a certain level of advantage to who they're playing. But like, for the sake of the game, we need to see the likes of the William O'Donoghues, you know, and the Richie Englishes and the Mikey O'Briens, the players, you know, that we need to see these players out there and not to be dogged by injury.
Yeah, there's been plenty of injuries, unfortunately, on the Doon side, and Mikey O'Brien not too far from us. He's in agreement. He's in that category as Ronan Lynch fires one over, and Mikey will give you the few quid for that compliment after the game, Matt, as another one for the Piarsaigh and Doon.
It was pre-arranged, Tom.
Yeah, he'll give you the few bob he said afterwards, as Doon desperately in search of a green flag to spark something here. A ball inside. Casey does what a good defender does, just gets it to ground first, then maps up the pieces, and he's going to switch it to Boylan, as the gap has really just only gone one way, as Wayne Kearns comes onto it here. Kearns has loads of time, sends it across to Breen, just can't get her, but no harm to have Peter Casey behind you in that instance, and Casey gives it back to Keith Dempsey, and Dempsey in off the bench, and Dempsey fires it over. And I'm not sure if it was an injury that has kept him out. I know he removed him from the game against Kildare-Pallaskenry, but certainly he's trying to put his hand up to say I should remain in the 15 further in the championship. But a nice score there.
Yeah, from what we've seen, Tom, and when we look at the subs bench here in the Piarsaigh, you can see the level of competition that is, you know, that there is in the Piarsaigh, and the happy position that Shane O'Neill and his management team are in. And
we have a break here. momentarily. There's a sub coming in for Doon. Garrett Thomas wearing 22 is in. As Ty Whelan makes way, so that's number 22 for 9 on the Doon side. Garrett Thomas for Ty Whelan with about a quarter of this contest remaining. Ball cut in there again. The Piarsaigh foraging for it. There's a number of red jerseys there. One of them is Darragh O'Donovan. Bursts out through the tackles. Great strength as ever from O'Donovan. Gives it. It breaks its way to Jack Ryan. It's sent inside to Pat Ryan. And Pat Ryan comes away with it. Ryan, as he run out of the road, there's advantage coming for Ryan. 4 blue jerseys around him. They fouled him. And Pat Ryan licking his wounds there on the deck, and a chance for Doon.
You know, they're 16 points down at this stage. Like, at this point, I know you can easily take a point here, but I think, you know, it's incumbent on Doon at this stage to try and create a goal, Tom, and put it in around the box, because a point isn't going to make much of a difference. It's like a drop in the ocean at this stage. And, like, you know, to give them something to cling to, you know, going forward. So it's Adam English is going to take it. And it looks as if he's going to be satisfied with a point.
Yeah, although he maybe was surveying for a switch of play.
No.
Now he's going to go for it himself. And English, probably given the distance and angle that was just that bit too great. I could see your point, Matt, that's for sure. But he arrows one over and English gets another. They've just managed 4 points so far in the second half, despite what looked to be a bright start. If Pat Ryan's goal had gone in, you just don't know where this game would have went. But Mike Casey got in the way, as he so often does. And Doon continue to just play for a bit of pride as ball out over the line there.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Tom, this group is so tight that scoring difference may be a factor, albeit the new scoring.
Well, let's not get into that just yet. But yeah.
No, we will not get into it.
We could potentially be there at the end of the two groups, trying to count it up and discount some results and include others, but we'll cross that bridge as we come to it, as the line ball is a bit of a messy one. But Jack Kilmallock, 3 wins from 3. Patrick Swell, 2 wins from 3. The Piarsaigh on course for 2 wins from 3. Ahan and Doon a win apiece, and Killeen Pallaskenry suffering 3 defeats from 3 on their debut in the top 6 this season. So plenty still to play for in the final 2 rounds, but taking some bit of shape that maybe we may have predicted beforehand. But as we say, the top 2 going direct to the semi-finals can give themselves a bit of a breather. It has been a route familiar to an Piarsaigh, as ball break down by Breen. Is he going to search another score? He is, and Adrian Breen fires this one over. And they keep the scoreboard moving in one direction, and it's their biggest total of the championship so far by some distance. They and there's still plenty of time to add to that. Cian O'Donovan with advantage sends it in towards Pat Ryan. Pat Ryan out in front. The touch is tidied up nicely, and from out on the sideline, Pat Ryan gets it. Oh yes, the umpires don't even need to
from
consult.
Pat Ryan.
That's
absolutely an excellent score.
Starved the ball for much of this contest, but does well there to pull them back into it. There's consultation among the Piarsaigh backroom team about potential changes, and of course with a Premier Intermediate club, they have a junior side, Premier Intermediate, they have a junior B side, and indeed a junior C side. So fielding 4 adult teams this season are the City men, as Darragh O'Donovan disagrees with a lack of decision there, as Murphy comes away with it. Murphy almost took by. I think it's into Pat Ryan. Pat Ryan puts the brakes on, out the back door. Oh, look at that from Casey. Pat Ryan comes away with it, across the chest from Ronan Lynch, and he just tried something a little bit unorthodox there to Pat Ryan, but just didn't come off.
Just didn't come off. But you were just saying about the Piarsaigh intermediate team. Of course, they're back here tomorrow. They're playing Blackrock in the Premier Intermediate Championship at 1 p.m. here tomorrow.
Certainly a demand for hurling in Cardiff, there's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Spurred on by the success of this team over the last, what are we looking at now, 11 or so years across indeed county and provincial, as English.
Happy with his point.
Happy with his point, and his tally grows as does Doon's, but again, it seems to be very much too little and too late for them, as Dowling just sends it beyond the 45 or to the 45 on the opposite end of the pitch, and that's good stuff from Wayne Kearns. But in fact, it was JJ Carey As you can see, the number of Piarsaigh subs beneath us here, all up in their jerseys. A couple of them, I'm sure, hoping to be introduced here as the game goes on. But again, because of the Premier Intermediate, Matt, it's a delicate balancing act for management.
It is actually, and it's unlikely at this stage with 14 points in it that they're likely to burn any of their players at this stage. I can't see it happening. And there is a few anxious faces here raring to go here and to go into this team and make a statement, but I'm afraid they might have to wait a little bit longer.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a difficult team, I'm sure, to get into. As the ball is flicked out to Boylan from tight angle. He's going to land it on the pitch and putt course. He is with and I was going to say with success, it's just to the left and wide.
It would have been an absolutely phenomenal score, only matched by the score that he got here in the second half, at the start of the second half.
Absolutely, yeah. He's taking him on from difficult angles tonight, there's no doubt. Dahi Dempsey, he wants to get in on it now, and Dahi Dempsey has sent it over the bar. Another one from him.
Yeah, he has certainly been involved in so much good work. He deserves that one.
And even though they're 15 points to the good match, you can still hear the Piarsaigh players. They're still playing to the standards required, because they're not just going to canter over the finish line. They want to just drive a little bit of a dagger into the Doon hearts.
But this is what makes Piarsaigh the great side that they are and the great club that they are. You know, that there is no letting off. It's a standard. And it's a process, as John Kiley says, and it must be maintained from the first to the final whistle.
Yeah, and they certainly didn't let up in that 2020 final. Sorry to Doon spectators who were listening in, and we reminded of that. They really put the foot to the throat that evening, and they're certainly showing no sign of doing it. There was a wild swing in there. Yeah. Not sure who the guilty party is. Maybe it's Barry Murphy, but nevertheless, we're going to have a free for Doon, and the ball is being brought forward for descent. Ball was thrown into the crowd, and Matt, again, I can see it happening already. We're going to have a scramble of young kids. There's so many young kids, and they're not all from Doon or Piarsaigh. They're from all clubs. They're from Bruff. I've seen Kilmallock jerseys coming in. I've seen Knockany, all sorts of clubs. They're all going to be coming in for autographs here from the Stars, and it's just something that's happening at every game now across the
league. But it's absolutely fantastic to watch. It's not the sole preserve of David Clifford. We see our Limerick players.
Oh, Shane Dowling brings a nice rapturous applause on the far side. Arrows won over, but we'll pick up that point again in a second, Matt. But a sub on the Doon side, as they're bringing in Sean Og Blackmore wearing 26. Spotted out that from Shane Dowling, putting them on to 418, and off comes Jack Cummins for Doon. So with about 10 minutes or so left, Shane Dowling is in on the score sheet. They've surpassed the 30-point mark. We're 10 points in the second half.
It's a bit of a reincarnation of the past at inter-county level. We were so familiar with Shane Dowling getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, was the record Limerick score, and I don't think there was probably enough made of that at the time. He surpassed Gary Kirby in 2018, and he has since been surpassed by the great Aaron Gillan. Now, of course, you'll argue that there's more games for these players now, but the ball still had to be put over the bar, it's fair to say, and putting the ball over the bar is what Adam English has just done there. Another one for him. But his Shane Dowling's inter-county career really cut short. He could still be in amongst it if he hadn't had such difficulty with injury. As his puck out doesn't go to plan, as the ball sent inside now. And again, they're searching for it. Doon would like it. English going to take it on here. Going to put it back on the hurley. English going to go for a goal from there. Oh, Dowling gets a hurley to it. I think that's just gone over the bar.
He deflected it over, actually.
I thought that was actually saved out for a 65, but the umpires have flashed it as a flag. It was a very tight one to the post, but English with another one. In fact, I definitely thought that was outside the post, but we'll have to have a look ourselves. But nevertheless, it's another white flag for Doon. He definitely went for goal, Matt. He put a bit too much height on it, and Dowling at the last second got his stick to it. As his chance at the other end, Wayne Kearns, but his effort is wayward. there's now a ball. I think the referee is going to... I was mentioning the young supporters. They're a bit premature with their pitch invasion, and the umpires are trying to kick them out. You can come in for the autographs afterwards. Matt will sign them for you, no problem.
Oh, yeah. There's a gang of them down there now.
Yeah. But that'll tell you that maybe the impetus has gone out of this game a long time ago, but the youngsters still staying down to the dying embers, waiting for their moment. As Adam English is in amongst it, there's plenty of bodies there. As Foley, little brick flicker off to Kevin Downs. Again, they're searching for the ball as Murphy hand passes it in towards Stapleton, but Dempsey is back there and he covered his man. A lovely little flick on the ball from him as Stapleton lines up the ball, or lines up the shoulder, but Emmett McAvoy is going to split the sticks, is he? Emmett McAvoy, well, I was critiquing his shooting earlier in the piece. This one is out of the hand, and this one is much better. Emmett McAvoy on the score sheet.
And it's over the bar, and it's bringing almost to 420 at this stage.
Yeah, just shy of it now. Next one will be 420, as here it may come, as ball carried through. Across now to... Oh, it's a lovely block in there. There was a shot from JJ Carey. The Piarsaigh now probably going to recycle here towards Breen. Breen escapes the clutches of the defender, but his effort has gone to the near side and wide.
Yeah, it's gone rather pedestrian at this stage, Tom. There's no doubt about the result. I suppose there was no doubt about the result from midway through the first half, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably from that third goal really onwards was that was probably the final nail. The Doon coffin has an advantage coming there. A big hit on Peter Casey decides he's going to keep going, and Peter Casey puts that one over.
And now we have reached the magical 420.
Yeah, they haven't really threatened the goal in the second half, but they certainly don't have to. Keep tacking on the points as Tomas Lynch goes short with the puck out and opens up the shoulders and sends it long. A previous minor goalkeeper with Limerick, Lynch, but sends it down, and the Piarsaigh can really do what they want with it as McAvoy met by the challenge of Adam English, and it's intercepted by Dara Dunham. A couple of players starting to slip now as the evening dew comes in, and again physicality in that the Piarsaigh backline. They'll take a bit of stopping, it's fair to say, in the latter rounds of this championship. I'd say we could safely say they'll be in the final six. It's just a case for them if they can get into the top two in this group and put themselves directly into the final four. They've focused the minds after a first round defeat to Patrick Swell. It's going to be 2 wins on the bounce.
Yeah. Doon for the concluding stages, Tom, have the 2 bottom teams at the moment. Kildimo Palace, Kenry next, and then they have a hand in the final game. So they will see their opportunity to make the quarterfinals at least. But on this performance, one would wonder. But you would have to say that this is the Piarsaigh nearing their best, or showing signs of getting towards their best.
Yeah, Peter Casey looking for another one, this time off the right wing, but this time he has sent it to the right and wide. Again, familiar style of his, shortens the grip and just finds himself in any bit of space. He'll have a crack.
Yeah,
doesn't get that.
They're well into double figures in terms of wides now. Yeah. Plus 420. It will give you an idea of the dominance, the level of dominance. Like they've almost created 40 chances.
HMC is going to twist that in nicely. Is he? No, he's not.
No.
He looked for the curl on it, but didn't work for him yet. And we were talking about wides earlier in this today. Kilmallock 14 wides last night, but still put up a total of 117. I'll tell you that these sides can create opportunity after opportunity.
Absolutely.
A free for Doon here, and I suppose that's the trick for the sides who are in the chasing pack. They need to. I suppose you need to take your chances, but you need to try and create a volume of them.
Absolutely, but I still see that Doon are in single figures at the moment. In terms of wide, so that'll give you a sense of.
Yeah, they haven't shot themselves out of it.
No, the disparity between the sides.
Donovan puts it in, and Dowling is underneath. It was going to go wide, but he elects to catch. And David Dempsey has been absolutely everywhere this evening. So consistent, and looks like he's put those injury woes well and truly behind him. As Ronan Lynch, another man who has been a little bit all over the place, as he's in there amongst it alongside Sean Og Blackmore. Chance now for Carey. What's he going to do? Carey comes in on the challenge. Real tough stuff. There's advantage coming for Carey. And spare arm tackle, I think, was the call there from John O'Halloran.
Tom, you would have to say that we're lucky this evening that we have such a fine evening, because the evenings are closing in, and you just wonder about, 6:45 hurling. I think we'll be going back to 6 o'clock hurling very shortly.
Well, on Wednesday evening, Kildown Pallaskenry and Doon is penciled in for 6:30 in Kilmallock, but I would have my doubts. We might be moving that 15 minutes or so at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on Thursday at 6 p.m. starts for Kilmallock and Patrickswell and Ahan and the Piarsaigh. That's the 3 games in this group. So 6 p.m. starts for the latter 2, and the other one at 6:30 at the moment as Ronan Lynch knocks over another. But if indeed it was a much more dreary evening, we may be in trouble in terms of light, but nevertheless we're almost at the death of this one. There's another point there. Just
Conor Boylan
with another. Got that goal in the first half, a goal the last time against Kildown Pallaskenry. They lift the total once again, 4:22. Dowling, or not Dowling I should say, that's Kevin Down sends it into Boylan, and Boylan looking for another, 2 on the trot for him. Does well, escapes the clutches of Darragh O'Donovan, and another one from Boylan. And they've really just kept a steady level of performance in the second half. Haven't definitely not gone through the gears, but they've nice and comfortable cruise control, as they'd say.
3 points in 90 seconds there. I know the game is over as a contest, but
still doing all the right things. They're Shane O'Neill's men, It's an old-fashioned pull. We don't see too much of that now with the shorter hurleys for players, as it breaks the way of the men from the east, and there's a chance now for Doon to work something here. Eddie Stokes has carried the ball well at times this evening into Pat Ryan. Does well. Has to switch. Pat Ryan lobs it in around the house, and it breaks inside there with Emmett McAvoy. And there is the full-time whistle, and it's the Piarsaigh who are winning very, very comfortably, 4:23-16. Matt, the game probably was in a bit of a lull, I suppose, down the conclusion. We were probably winding down to it. The Piarsaigh were the winners. Doon, they won't define their season because, as you mentioned, they've 2 games that they will definitely target coming up. But just not good for them to be beaten by so much here in Rough again.
And with such a short turnover, you just wonder what it does to team and squad morale. But certainly, whilst the Piarsaigh were heading towards their best this evening, not at their best, but getting there, but it was a poor performance by Doon standards, a very, very poor performance, and really they were in catch-up, Tom, from very, very early in the game. Once the second goal went in, the writing was pretty well on the wall, and but full credit, they battled, but it was only battling for pride for the most part, because they got a couple of points early in the second half, and you said to yourself, God, they're coming out, flying out of the traps, but the Piarsaigh just steadied down again, and really after that, Doon made no inroads whatsoever into the lead, and as you can see, it's gone off the scoreboard now, but the lead increased, and it's a 19 points winning margin, and I don't think, particularly what we saw in the second half, Tom, that very few could argue with it. Like the Piarsaigh, when they're in this sort of form, they're a joy to watch, and they were that just tonight. And I suppose there was never any doubt, but the Piarsaigh would get through to the knockout stages, even after that early defeat by Patrickswell. But all it did was, I suppose, it woke them up and re-energised them, and certainly. What will be a very interesting game, and I don't want to skip on too far, will be the game between Kilmallock and the Piarsaigh in the final round. You could have a situation by that time where both of them would possibly be in the semi-final, and that it might be a dress rehearsal for a bigger game later in the year. But hugely impressed by the Piarsaigh. Great performance by the Piarsaigh. It's the sort of stuff that we expect from them. Doon will be very, very disappointed. Big job to pick up in 4 days. That's what they have until next Wednesday night in Kilmallock. They will have to go away. No time for licking their wounds. It'll be a question of refocusing. A game that they have to win. Lose to Kildown Pallaskenry, and they're going to be in a bit of trouble.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, I must thank you once again for
as we can see, Peter Casey is swarmed by the youngsters as we predicted. But Matt, I must thank you once again for your company this evening. I've been Tom Clancy, he's been Matt O'Callaghan. This has been a Stream Sport.ie production for Limerick GA TV. There will be more games in the coming weeks, so do stick closely to the social media channels and indeed on Limerick GA TV website, and there will be plenty of information if and when those games are confirmed. Thank you very much for your company this evening. We'll talk to you again soon.
Quarterfinals at least, and you're right.
Well, we're underway here, and straight away Ronan Lynch, a couple of seconds on the clock, gets Adam English now, looks to level us up, goes through his routine and gets it perfectly right. High Dempsey off the right, just bangs it in there looking for Peter Casey. Casey puts the brakes on, switches it across towards Adrian Breen. Oh, he just can't get it. If he did, there was a goal is on. It might be still on. Breen off low shot. Breen to the back of the net. And Adrian
right touchline, but
back against him in a rush. Says English. The umpires are happy, and English is happy too.
Less than just about 10 minutes into the game.
Oh, lovely play there, Peter Casey. He's not going to hit one wide. He's going to put it over. No. Peter Casey doesn't need. Lines this one up. He likes it, I think. Yeah, indeed he does. And Owen Fitzgibbon gets on it. Here is English. English likes it before it's even over the bar. Adam English with his first from playing.
Seen before the sweetest skills that Adam English has, and he used them there on that occasion to get a very important point. There's danger.
Here's Conor Boylan. Boylan goes through. English or Donovan's with him. Oh, Boylan to the back of the net. Had the advantage. Did uses such good strength. Coughlin comes away from his man, lengthens the grip on the hurley, and Donald Coughlin. Oh yes. It was a tight angle, but didn't
just tailed at the very end. You know, it looked to be on course, but tailed at the very last minute.
What a take from Dempsey. Dahi Dempsey bearing down a goal, looking for a third. Sends it in to Lynch. Lynch sends it to the back of the net.
And of course, the offload was absolutely spot on.
Peter Casey from right in the middle of the pitch. He gets it perfect.
There's no urgency about the Piarsaigh this evening.
Cian Donovan is hooked on the way, but does he get the shot right? He does, despite the hook. Nicely, Adrian Breen gets on it. Breen has the pace to get away. Will he take his point here? I think he will. And Breen makes no mistake from there.
The execution for the score with Doon.
He's really, really busy. Be playing with a great pep in his as Will Hen cross to Breen. Breen into the side there. That's another goal. Doesn't need an invitation to catch that. Casey has all the time in the world. His shot is just perfectly over the crossbar, and Casey steadies himself up, and he's going to going to take it on here. Going to put it back on the hurley. English going to go for a goal from there. Oh, Dowling gets a hurley to it. I think that's Stapleton lines up the ball, or lines up his shoulder, but Emmett McAvoy is going to split the sticks, is he? Emmett McAvoy, while I was critiquing his shooting earlier, keep going, and Peter Casey puts that one over.
And now we have reached the magical 4:20.
Yeah, 3 games in this group, so 6 p.m. starts for the latter two, and the other one at 6:30 at the moment, as Ronan Lynch knocks over another. Unless we're almost at the death of this one. There's another point there. Just lift the total once again, 4:22. Dowling, or not Dowling, I should say. That's Kevin Down sends it into Boylan, and Boylan looking for another 2 on the trot for him. Does well. Kevin Down sends it into Boylan, and Boylan looking for another 2 on the trot for him.